Oh, wow. Well, welcome, guys. So this is law number 34. So now we have be royal in your own fashion, act like a king, to be treated like one. And you know what I thought before this? Because you want to hear about my woes, was the pain, the excruciating pain that I'm feeling because of my teeth. And I did an audit, which is completely unrelated to the law, so you can just fast forward if you don't care. And I said, you've been through a lot of pain in your life. And I sort of went through a list, because I was trying to find juxtaposition, to the excruciating pain that I'm feeling these days. And I said, and I went back as far as I could remember. And I said, when you were a kid, you had gasoline poured in your eyes. And I said, that was pretty painful. And then I said, I remember I jumped off of a roof in rollerblades, like, inline skates, thinking I could fly or something. And then I landed and then it to my ankle. I just thought I could clear that. And again, I got interrupted. And then that was that hurt. That was pretty excruciating. My ankle, no good. I remember squatting 405 and I missed it. The bar rolled forward on my traps, and so I got pitched forward. So all the stress went onto my knee and I tore my meniscus in my knee. That wasn't good. I've herniated my disc in my lower back multiple times. That wasn't fun. And then I went back to like repressed memories when I used to get beat by my dad. Like he would hit me with a stick in places like you could cover up when going to school. That painful at the time, right? And then I tore this, so where the pec inserts to the front delt when I was benching, and that nearly tore my pec, tore my shoulder. And I was like, that really hurt. And I remember I've had that thing in the throat where when it hurts to swallow, strep throat, where literally just swallowing your saliva feels like agony, right? And your tonsil is like this big, and that really hurt too. And I said, Tarek, sweetheart, you've been through so much pain. And then I thought about how the last night went and how a couple nights before went. And I don't think I've ever endured more excruciating pain in my entire life than having a tooth that has a cavity in it. And then I don't have my appointment to get it, taken out until Wednesday. And I'm literally on the 800 milligram ibuprofen like every 6 hours. I couldn't even make it that long. So I took it, slightly before. And I'm very happy that God plus my body didn't let it activate because having that overlap, it's strict on saying don't take this, prior to 6 hours, but it was so much pain I couldn't do it. I couldn't wait any longer, and so I took it, and then it didn't kick in, and then it was, even excruciating, and then it's like, where do you go? You know what I'm saying? Because you took the thing that, is supposed to take all the pain away, and then you're just in this agony, and there's no position that you can go to that gives you any sort of relief, because this is tied to a nerve that makes this whole thing excruciating. And it gave me a lot of empathy for the 14th century, common peasant, where you have a toothache. Oh no, I better get my affairs in order. So, anyway, I don't really complain or anything, but I just wanted to share with you guys. It has been hell. This has been by far the most. And then I remember I stepped on glass when I went surfing one time, and inspired me to never do surfing again, where it literally punctured my foot. Somebody left glass, in the ocean. That was fun. And that really hurt. And then pouring the disinfectant alcohol on it to, clean the wound. That wasn't fun either. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I've been burned and I've been bruised and I've been, jumped. And I was just like, I have a lot of resilience. I got a lot of, if you've ever seen the movie Warcraft, she's like, broken bones heal stronger. She's like, I'm very strong. So I understand all that. But I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. Maybe this is just me venting. Maybe I get 5 minutes, huh? But yes, so that's what I've been dealing with. So I thought you wanted to know. It's been excruciating as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and I've hated every second of it. When the pain doesn't go away, and I'm just like, this is fucking miserable, and I don't know how much longer I can take. I don't know how I'm gonna make it to Wednesday, but we're doing it. We're doing the best we can. So here we go. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. So the moral of the story of all of Tarek's pain and his struggle and his hardships that he's been through. And I didn't include the drug overdoses, which is like throwing up your entire life from the poison. That's not fun either. But nothing is more excruciating than the rightful karma that you deserve from postponing an appointment to the dentist for probably over 15 years. So if for any Autobots, any surviving people out there who are neglecting to go to the dentist, and you feel a little pain at, sometimes, and then you say, nah, it's not that bad, until God is like, and I gotta push him to the point where he's gonna take action, right? I gotta crush him to where he'll finally say enough, he'll finally do it. And then I did, and I booked an appointment and for like a week out. And then he was like, no, I need you to go see them now. And then he made it excruciating. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to go see them tomorrow, right? And so, anyways, life will push you. Okay, let's get fucking serious. This is 5 minutes of your of things you didn't want to hear about my life, but that's what's been going on. Next, be royal in your own fashion, act like a king to be treated like one. So this is a quote from the book, and then we'll get into the whole summary is knowing your value, right? How you carry yourself. The fact that people judge based on appearances. I can attest to this personally. When I walk into Target, which is in walking distance from my apartment, when I dress sharp, I get looked at differently. When I dress like a hobo, you get perceived like a beggar and they treat you accordingly. When I go in with form-fitting clothes, you can't really see my form-fitting clothes, right? And you look like you have athleticism, you get an immediate respect because of everything that it communicates without you saying anything, right? It's like when you see a well-built physique, people admire that because what does it show? What does it communicate to the crowd? Oh, this person probably has discipline, probably implores consistency, probably knows something about work ethic and patience and heart, and is strong in his character as much as he is in his physicality. There's an immediate respect, and people of affluence, and I know this from conversing with them when I was searching for a mentor last year. Because I would wear a sweater, and I was bulking at the time, and so I was, a good size, and you make these older guys smile so much, and I don't know if it's nostalgia from, when they were a kid, and, back when I was your age, I used to, bench 400 and all this bullshit, but they just appreciate a young man who has work ethic and who has discipline and who is hungry for improvement, for growth. And he's serious about his personal development because they know that people who have been through the path for success, for personal growth, that it transcends. So if you have a well-built physique, right, you can apply that discipline to your business relationships or to your entrepreneurial venture, right, or to your academics. And so they see how it all transcends. So I saw a great video. It was this dude doing an interview with a millionaire, and he reached for his hand and he touched his calluses because he was like, this tells me more about you in 5 seconds than, if I was to do an hour fucking resume interview with you. That's a bunch of bullshit, right? So it's just important that you understand that. And so when you ask yourself, why are people treating me with disrespect? Why are people, looking at me the other way? Ask yourself, how are you showing up, right? How are you presenting yourself? Are you walking with, rolled shoulders? When a woman looks at you, you're averting eye contact immediately, or do you walk like you fucking belong there, like you own the place, right? You walk chest up, chin back, is that how shoulders back, chin up, as if you're wearing a crown. Do you know what I'm saying? And what it does is it gives you a sense of confidence, and he specifies this in this law, not cockiness, not arrogance, not being like a short king, which I'll get into in an example, that screams insecurity or screams that they're seeking attention, right? When you walk around with that calm, graceful self-reassurance, you don't have to say anything and you'll be getting a ton of attention from people. And you'll find that by you just being yourself, your confident, authentic self, you will be such a light that other people will be very, very insecure by the amount of attention that you're eliciting from other people without even having to try, when they're having to do all of these schemes and manipulations and showmanship and obnoxious behaviors, right, of screaming and hollering and having fucking their cleavage all the way out and dressing like a common whore before they go outside, and then getting upset about people who either look at them a certain way or with lustful eyes when that's exactly what they're advertising. Do you know what I'm saying? So just understand that, right? You can sell sexiness with modesty, right? You can sell confidence with silence. There's a quote from Greg Plitt: when you do the work in here, when you go out there, you don't need to talk, do you? You know what I'm saying? So it's all about what? How you present yourself, how you carry yourself. People judge on appearance, right? And they do it from a survival standpoint, right? I need to assess whether you're a threat or not. They do that immediately. They judge you based on appearance immediately, right? So I learned this from Suits. We talk about alignment and why you need to watch certain things, or how everything that you do on your life, on your hero's journey, is all purposeful. It all has a purpose. And me binge watching that amazing show had served me for my rat life job, but also for just etiquette as a man. And Harvey Specter said in that show, he said, first impressions matter. He said, if you start behind the 8 ball, don't ever expect to catch up. And it's very, very true. You can't, and there's another good quote, that you can't make a first impression like the second time. Like, you don't get a second try at making a first impression, right? So you like it, when you're approaching a woman, it's the same thing. When you go up to her and you don't have confidence, and then you say, no, trust me, I'm confident, but not today, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? So, does that make sense? How are you carrying yourself? Are you walking around with confidence? Have you forgotten who you are? There's a quote from Mufasa. He's like, you've forgotten you, therefore you've forgotten me. And it's exactly how you kind of lose God, to be honest. When you forget the God that's within you. Do you know what I'm saying? When you forget who you are, that's you forgetting God. Because think of yourself as a branch, a part of the whole, part of the tree, right? You are a part of that very divinity. So when you forget who you are, when you forget your value, I talked about in a previous lecture, when you put yourself on the fucking clearance rack, right, to be used, to be discarded, right, at a whim, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice, the biggest disgrace, but also you're not doing a good thing to God. You're forgetting God because you're forgetting who you are. Simba. Okay. So let me finish the quote. Or let me say the quote. I didn't even say it. We just got right into it, didn't we? The way you carry yourself will often determine how you are treated. Because I said people judge appearances. For a king respects himself and inspires the same sentiment in others. Act regally and confident of your power. You make yourself seem destined to wear a crown. And I love that so much. And you know that, man. When people are walking with assurance, with self-confidence, it's like there's something about them that they're going somewhere, right? And women know this because women kind of bet on horses, especially when they're playing the long game sort of mating strategy. So when they see a guy that maybe doesn't have it all together right now, but he has high ambition, then they're like, there's something about him that I think that in a long-term play, he's destined to wear a crown. Why? Because of how he carries himself. It all comes down to belief, right? It starts with belief. Belief, potential, action, results over time until. And I had a Greg Plitt quote that I learned a long time ago. And this is very evident on your journey, and it ties in with the amount of belief that you have to have from the start, right? Being the kind of person that you make yourself seem that you're destined to wear a crown. Here's the quote. He said, you have to believe in yourself enough to be the person now that others will remember you for later, right? That's how much belief you have to have in yourself, right? Believe that you're destined to wear the crown, but that's how you have to act now. And it's not, I learned this from Mel Robinson. It's not faking it until you make it. You're literally acting as if. And then there's a quote from the mentor of Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale. Earl Schoaf was his mentor. I saw a video of Earl Nightingale, and he said, imperceptibly, you become your thoughts. You become what you think about most often. So if you are constantly reaffirming and visualizing the man or woman that you want to be on a daily basis, and you're acting the part, right? You're showing up correct. You're waking up early. You're putting in the full effort. You're not cutting corners. You're not half-assing it. You're not employing the quote that I shared in a previous prior lecture, that success isn't a light switch that goes on and off when someone's watching, right? It's constant. What you do day in and day out when no one's watching, that's the same person who has their hand raised on the podium one day, right? Same person. It's what you do day in and day out. The quote from Tony Robbins, people are rewarded in public for what they've practiced for thousands of hours in private. So the question that you need to ask yourself in enacting this law, which is be royal in your own fashion, act like a king to be treated like one, is how do you act when no one's watching? Who are you when the camera is off? Are you doing the work when you're not getting paid for it? I was looking at the viewership on my last 3 videos, dude. 5 views, 3 views, this many views. And I asked myself, because you get the doubt, you get the, the enemy seeping in, like, should you still do it? Should you keep going? And I said, I'm not doing it for a view count or a view number right now. I'm doing it to create it. Do you know what I'm saying? To do this virtual library, Rat Life University, to have all of these laws, all of the next book, the techniques of the art of seduction, all of the 33 strategies of war, all of the 18 laws of human nature, and just broken down by Robert Greene, to give everyone around the world the best literature ever written on personal development. Imagine that. Imagine you're a kid and you have access to every technique of manipulation to combat, to equip yourself against, and to implore. Not imploring manipulation negatively on people, but to enhance your sales, to enhance your relationships, to enhance your business, your physique, everything, dude. It comes down to what? Your ability to sell yourself, the ability to negotiate, to influence other people to your cause, right? In the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World by O.G. Mandino, amazing book. It's so beautifully written, kind of like The Alchemist, if you've ever read that book. It's written in like kind of fable form. And they talk about this guy named Jesus and this Bible, but they need to sell it, right? Because you can have the best product, you can have the best service in the world, but if you can't sell it, then it might as well die with you, right? Excuse me. Everybody knows this. It's not the best product or service that sells, it's the best marketing. You know what I'm saying? So all of that you learn from all these books on personal development. So imagine any kid with a Wi-Fi connection that has access to this virtual library. They learn discipline, they learn delayed gratification, they learn how to set goals, they learn how to equip themselves against manipulation, right? They learn financial literacy, they learn psychology, they learn all of this. And so I said, I don't give a fuck about the number count. I'm not doing it for that. I said, I'm doing this to create the best online free university on personal development that has ever been collected, that's ever been archived into a single library, without any bullshit, without any garbage. I saw a video just recently of the secretary under President Trump, and she was just calling all the bullshit out of all the woke and all of the DEI and all of the gender ideology garbage and just all the trash. And in the first 30 days of his term, he's cleaning fucking house on all the insanity. And I said, that's awesome. Why? It's truth. It's removing all the garbage. It's removing all of the theft. The Doge, I don't know, I forget what the acronym stands for, but they have uncovered like, I don't know what the number is, like $50 billion in just wasted tax dollars, and just in crime and in theft and in acts of treason from the former administration. And you're just like, thank you. Thank God we have actual leadership that's actually fighting on our behalf as American citizens. It's fucking fantastic. But what is that founded on? Truth, integrity. I saw an interview with Elon Musk. He said, it's fascinating what you can accomplish with care and competence. He said, by doing this, nationwide audit, we can recover billions of misused funds in a matter of fucking hours. How fascinating is that? That the last treacherous snake motherfuckers were bending you over and screwing you so hard, and now it's all coming to light in hours. And they're doing it with full transparency, which is so beautiful, keeping the American people, and on a global stage, just in the know on everything that's going on and all the fucking abuse and atrocity and bullshit that we've been subject to under the previous tyrannical, oppressive bullshit government. And I love it. I know this is kind of a tangent, but I just love it so much. I love that we can call out all the bullshit. We can call out all the garbage of men being able to compete in women's sports. It's so beautiful to see people aligning with God, with truth. And so it all ties in. Do you understand? It all ties into what we're doing with this university. Imagine we're creating a garden that's without any of the bullshit. You can get the same education that you could at a top tier university, right? Without going into tens, if not hundreds of $1,000s in student loan debt, right? To graduate with a worthless fucking degree that AI will make that whatever job you were going to get redundant. Do you understand? This is about giving people the key to their escape, the key to their freedom forever from the rat life. What is that? A life of perpetual slavery. It's death by debt. So that's why we're doing this. So if I get 3, 4, 5, video views, who gives a fuck? We're not doing that. We're here for a purpose. We're here to enact God's will, right? To see this through to the end. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. I hope any of that resonates with you at home. Next, come to hold yourself in awe. I love that. I love to hear that. Come to hold yourself in awe. As in, when was the last time you looked at yourself in the mirror and complimented yourself, right? I had to train myself to do this, and I learned this, part of it from Jordan Peterson. He said, you should fist bump yourself, or maybe it was Mel Robbins. Mel Robinson. Every time you see yourself in the mirror, like give yourself a fist bump, give yourself a high five, compliment yourself, tell yourself you love yourself. I would say you're so fucking handsome. You are so sexy. You are so stunning. You look so good. Like from a past of having a very poor self-image, I've had to condition that. I've had to say that over and over and over again. And if you do it enough times, man, you will start to believe it. You know what I'm saying? You'll start to act the part. You'll start to treat yourself like a king, right? And then lo and behold, you'll find yourself getting that same respect afforded to you from other people, right? But if you treat yourself like shit, don't expect your reality to be a reflection of something different. Do you know what I'm saying? Your reality is just a mirror of your inner world. So if you hate yourself, if you whatever, you'll see that confirmed. It'll turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy from other people that you deserve to be, not loved, or that you shouldn't be complimented. The list goes on. I actually saw such a great video today. I drove to my brother's gym to give him a spot this morning, and there was a beautiful quote in it, and she was talking about love, and she said, love is not earned, it's recognized. And I had to sit with that for a very long time. And then, in this university we talk about healing, and I was thinking about my own, limiting beliefs, or just childhood, we'll say trauma, or things that I have, garnered the person that I am today. And I thought about how when I was younger, how hard I would have to work for like my father's like attention or approval. And I was like, did that transcend, you know what I'm saying, to my later years in life where I feel like I have to work so hard for love from other people, right? And I was like, wow, that's something. And it was just really, really cool. And she talks about the idea of like manifesting and how you can absolutely do that. What you're visualizing, the person that you want, that you can manifest conditional love. And she said, and you will get that. And she said, and you'll dull your edges, and you'll conform, and you'll make yourself into a person that you're not, and you won't show up as unapologetically you because you're trying to make yourself more palatable to other people. And what you'll find is you'll attract in kind, man. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, what you believe you're worthy of, right? And so I was listening to all this, and it was such beautiful nourishment into my mental garden, and I said, that is fantastic. And so I think the whole game is about remembering your value, right? We talk about this a lot. Act like a king to be treated like one. Remembering that you're worthy of unconditional, abundant love, somebody or other people who make you feel effortless, ecstatically confident in your own skin, so comfortable being yourself, right? So easy to love and to give abundant love to and to give compliments to. And it's just, my conditioning is a combination of, a plethora of rejection, from being myself, from people who just weren't on the same wavelength, didn't resonate. But then you sort of create this wall that you don't want to go through that pain of getting rejected again. So you'll, conform a little bit, or you'll dull your edges a little bit, or you'll, be less of your authentic self to be maybe more palatable. So maybe then I'll get sort of accepted. And then, but when you tie it back into childhood, it's fantastic how the things that are not even your fault of how you were raised or how you had to perform. Like when I was younger, dude, I had to excel in everything. Like I had to be, top of my class, get every award, get the highest GPA, just because that was what got approval, from like a young age. And so it's crazy how that comes later in life. And then you, at least I have, created these sort of, and I've shattered these recently in the past few months, these limiting beliefs of like, you're not worthy of love unless you make, this income, unless you have this physique, unless you put in this much effort. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating how it turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy of what you attract and magnetize into your life based on your belief system of what you believe you're worthy of, how you believe based on your framework, how you have to operate, how you have to work so hard and push and push and push in order to get, what should be effortless, what should be the path of least resistance, right? What shouldn't be something that you earn, but something that you recognize immediately within somebody. So I love that, because what that did is it gave me a lot of confidence and reassurance just to continue to be unapologetic, authentic self. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. It's me, take it or leave it. I don't give a shit about pleasing other people. You know, we're over that, dude. We're over pretending to be a fucking courtier, right? Pretending to be somebody who I need to make myself more fucking palatable for you. Fuck that. I want the person who I'm good enough on my worst day, not the person who I'm still not enough on my best day. Okay. Food for thought, food for thought. But we're all doing this together on the path, right? To heal, to grow, to improve, to become better, to learn, and to share. Because that way we all sort of benefit from it, you know? So I love that idea. It ties into it. Come to hold yourself in awe and remind yourself, dude, that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you're always enough, that you don't have to try any harder, that you don't have to become any more. And this was a thought that actually shattered it. It was of a certain person who, they sent me a text one time that said, you deserve everything. And it was, when you don't believe something, then it's just words. But it's from the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. As soon as you believe it for yourself, then it's true. And I paused and I did this little 180 and I said, what if you're enough right now? I said, humor this for a second. I said, what if you're enough as you are, this debt, this bank balance, this physique, this station in life, you know, this status, this everything. I said, what if you're enough right now? What if you're worthy of everything right now? What if you don't need to become anything else or anything more or do anything else anymore? I said, what if you're enough right now? And then I literally felt this, as if it was a seed that was planted. I felt it go from here, like to my heart, if you can imagine that, just go in. And then that was the day that that seed that this woman planted finally took root. The day that I believed it for myself. And it all starts with what? Belief. Belief. And so that's the beauty of life, is you could be the person who plants trees under whose shade you will never sit. You have no idea the ripple effect that might happen to somebody. People respect boldness and confidence. And I put, to specify, it's a quiet, calm self-assurance, right? Not the guy who's boastful, not the guy who's obnoxious, not the motherfucker who's throwing weights around the gym saying, it's the short king syndrome. I write it later in this my notes. Somebody please notice me, right? Please validate my existence, right? No, that screams and communicates to the whole world, I'm insecure, I need attention. It's the guy who has that quiet, calm self-assurance, who doesn't need to say fucking anything, who you look at him, and then it's actually a line from the book. There's something about him. It's like he's destined to wear the crown from how he carries himself. If you've ever seen the movie, I watched it recently, so good, like a month ago, Bohemian Rhapsody. And if you watch that actor, I don't know how accurate of a portrayal it is, but from an interview that I saw with the lead singer of the band Queen, Freddie Mercury, she was like, are you rich? She was like, yes, I'm rich. He's like, I flaunt it. So I imagine there was some truth into the portrayal of Freddie Mercury in the movie. But the confidence that this person had when he was nobody, when nobody cared about him, he walked like, a queen, right? He walked like a fucking king. He just walked in, owned the place, owned who he was though. And my favorite part about that entire movie, and something that I've dreamed of to have in my life, is the woman who he sort of marries, but you know, they're not husband and wife because he's gay. He said why they're perfect for each other, and this was the quote, and I resonate with this so much. He said, because we believe in each other. We believe in each other. And that is the greatest gift. I've said this so many times. The greatest gift you can give anyone in this life is belief. Belief. Because that's what love is. You believing in the potential that person has. The potential of who they can become. Love it. To continue. So it's a quiet, calm self-assurance. That's confidence, right? That's not arrogance. That's not ego. That's not insecurity. That's not weakness, right? We want powerful self-assurance, quiet, calm confidence. Your price you set is a reflection of what you think of yourself. So what you charge, who you date. Very important. And my neighbor is a perfect example of this, dude. His woman is the worst. Oh my God. The way she speaks, how she dresses, it's pure garbage and smut and degeneracy and stupidity. And when I look at her, all I do is look at him, because all she is a reflection of his standard, of his lack of self-respect. And understand that of the person that you're dating, they're a reflection of you and they're a reflection of your standard. So if you're dating an OnlyFans fucking model, it's just look at yourself in the mirror, my friend. What the hell are you doing? Do you know what I'm saying? Have some self-respect, have some class. Like that's the modern world today, man. But it's so important, and I'll reiterate it. Your price, it's what you set, is a reflection of what you think of yourself. So if you're dating somebody, or let's tie it not into dating, If you're charging very, very low for your product, for your service, and you're just like, oh no, and you're very unsure about it, understand that that's how you'll be treated, like a common, commodity, right? I've said this, once you remember your value, you'll be embarrassed at the shit you once settled for. And I started this when I, started entrepreneurship. It's actually very important when it comes to sales. I learned this from Gary Vaynerchuk, that people underestimate free. So when you give for free, it's actually, you're not doing it out of a lack of self-respect. You're doing it for testimonials. You're doing it for creating your community. You're doing it so the testimonials that you have later on, you could use those to charge people whatever price that you possibly want. But people find that, oh no, if I just give and give and give, I'm not gonna, get. It's from a state of lack and just entitlement, just poor starting entrepreneurial business etiquette. But when you're brand new and nobody knows who the fuck you are, you should be very, very motivated to do all of your product and services for free, just to get your fan base, just to get your group, just to get your, raving fans, raving customers. Because dude, there'll be testimonials, there'll be referrals, there'll be future customers and clients. Like, do not underestimate the power of free. So that's the caveat. However, you're established now, you're in business, you've been growing, and then you feel weird and queasy and, insecure about raising your prices because, oh no, I'm gonna lose these people. Lose them. And I learned this from Alex Hormozi, of one of the ways he handles objection when it comes to prices, where it's like, oh man, that's too much. And he's like, there are people who pay me more for the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I learned this with sales, that it's not your product, you're not charging too much, your prices aren't too high. You have the wrong prospect. Apply that to dating and relationships. What you're asking for out of your partner, you're not asking for too much, right? Basic things like trust, honesty, open communication, you not being a whore. Like, you're asking for basic fucking things, right? And I know it's crazy. Modesty, mutual respect, right? But to the wrong person, that's too great of an ask. The bare fucking minimum, right? You don't have the wrong etiquette or the wrong character, the wrong integrity, or your ask isn't too high. You have the wrong prospect. You understand? Wrong person. Get that? We learned this in one of Jim Collins' books, either Good to Great or Built to Last. You need to get the wrong people off the bus. Get the right people on the bus and get the right people in the right seats. Ties into how to grow a business. Like, you don't want your accountant to be your head of HR, even though they're an amazing employee, but wrong seat, right, in your bus of your business. But it's the same in life. Anybody who's a part of your life, just know where they fit and know, how they add the maximum to your life, right? I learned this from Les Brown. He was like, you can't mix friend groups of talk of discussion. He was like, I don't talk business strategy with my walking friends where we just talk about bullshit. He's like, I don't talk about politics with this person who's this. He's like, I sort of segregate them. But it ties in. It all ties in. But not to backtrack, it's a reflection of you. Your price, what you set, your fucking standard. And understand that what you're asking for is not too much. It's not too great of an ask. You just have the wrong prospect, right? And this is actually a quote from the book. It says, set your price and do not waver. Do not waver. Do not waver. Quote from the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Do not lower the target. If you want somebody who's not going to cheat on you, someone who's not going to physically or sexually or emotionally or verbally abuse you, don't settle for less. I remember I was coaching a girl on a call, and she was going through a little bit of physical abuse, but it wasn't too bad, is what she told me. And she was like, because of the contrast of what she had experienced in a previous relationship. And I said, lady, that doesn't make it okay. Like, just because you're in a learned state of helplessness with this person, that because I've endured worse, that means this is okay and this is tolerable? I said, dude, you gotta remember, man, that you're worth more than this. That you're not the kind of person who deserves, or that they're only worthy of a relationship so long as they fucking get beaten. It's insanity, but that's some people's mindset. Why? Because they've set that as their fucking price. They've set that as their standard. They set that as what they're willing to tolerate. And it's very, very important that what you tolerate is how you teach others how to treat you. So if you're the kind of person who chooses to tolerate any sort of this fucking abuse or any of this disrespect, any of this garbage, you set that precedent within your partner, within your business relationships, within your family members, that it's okay to fucking talk to you like this, to treat you like this. And I learned this from Andrew Tate. The best way to make something not ruined is to have it not get messed up in the first place. And that comes from framework. How you set something up from the jump. And it's just from setting the fucking tone of the deal, of the arrangement of the relationship, that if you're going to come to me, you're going to come to me correct. You're going to come to me with respect. You're not going to treat me like a fucking child throwing a tantrum, projecting on me, bleeding on somebody who didn't cut you. You make that crystal fucking clear from day one. And then the game is, like you're a bouncer, right, into your club, that unless you come correct, you don't come in at all. And it's that simple. Right? But the people who over time tolerate disrespect and tolerate gaslighting and tolerate manipulation and tolerate the physical or sexual or verbal or emotional abuse, or the person who cheats on them and then you forgive them and then you forget and then they cheat on you again, and it's a cycle that continues over and over, it's not their fault. It's yours. It's yours. And why? Because you've chosen to tolerate it. You've permitted it. And if you've rewarded it, for example, with sex, from the abusive behavior, not only have you tolerated it, but you have incentivized it. So why would they stop? So the important part of this it's not an attack. I'm not trying to give you a dagger, right? Because of the quote from Jim Rohn, you don't use the past as a baton to beat yourself to death with. It's all about pattern recognition. It's just about catching the pattern. Like in the drive that I did today, where she said, love is not earned, it's recognized, right? That's for me to learn. That's for me to remember, right? And that comes from breaking a pattern, from a lifetime of conditioning outside of my control. My fucking childhood of how I was raised by my horrific father, not something I can control, player. So that's just the game. And so you catch the pattern, and that's how you break a pattern. That's how you overcome a limiting belief. That's how you escape a shitty relationship. That's how you begin to remember your value. Right? So it's not an attack against you. This isn't a garden of judgment, of condemnation, of criticism. This is a place where we all heal, where we all learn, where we all grow, where we all overcome. Does that make sense? So understand that, just like how I ended the last lecture, Bilbo Baggins, I'm not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you, right? We're all trying to help each other. We're all trying to walk each other home. Do you understand? We're all here to heal, to improve, to grow, right? To remember who the fuck we are. And if you're like me, who has no one in their life giving them that reminder that you're a king, that you're, have that godlike divinity within you, that you're this badass motherfucker, you have to be that cheerleader, man. And so we can be that for each other, dude. We can hype each other up. We can tell each other we're the guy. We're him, right? Because until you do that, dude, you're never going to get treated like that from other people. Until you remember your value, until you take yourself off the fucking clearance rack, analogy I like to use, put yourself behind the glass, dude, in the showroom, you're gonna always get treated like a fucking clearance item from other people, to be used, to be discarded at a whim. It comes from you setting your price fucking high, man, high. As in, to the people who have access to you, to the people who get to text you and to get replies from you, the people who get your time, right? I'm so much more careful about this today. Whether it's, people who I'm of a prospective date or anything of the like. I said, I am very, very careful who gets access to my energy. Very, very careful. Because I've learned, and from remembering, that it is a fucking privilege. It is a privilege to have access to my energy, to have a conversation with me, to engage with me in any fucking way, to do business with me, to be my friend, to be my romantic partner. It is a fucking privilege to be in my garden. And you have to remind yourself of that. No, it's not your loss ever for people who choose not to be in your life, or people who choose that it's okay to come to you with manipulation or disrespect. No, fuck those people, right? Remember your value. Remember who the fuck you are. It is a fucking treat for these other motherfuckers to have access to you. And that's not an arrogant or entitled way. That's just understanding that you are a top tier person, dude. You are a fucking king of an item, right? Of someone who's just so awesome and so special and so valuable. But when you forget that, then you'll be treated as if you're not. And then, I know this from personal experience, when you're treated like that for a long enough fucking time, you'll believe that you're not. You'll believe that you're not special. You'll believe that you're not smart. You'll believe that you're not valuable, that you're not important, that you don't matter, right? Because you have a world giving evidence to that, alleged belief system. right? So you have to be the person that says, I think this is all bullshit. I think I'm gonna remember who the fuck I am. I'm gonna put myself behind the showroom glass, right? And then find out, surprisingly, that my world will be that prism. Now it'll reflect my belief system. Now I'll get circumstances and experiences and people who reflect how I view myself, my beliefs about myself, how I carry myself, right? And you'll see it turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. That because you've remembered your value, other people now see your value. And they treat you as you respect and treat yourself. The standard you set and tolerate for yourself. All right. If you believe you are destined for great things, you will be. Your belief will radiate outwards, just as a crown, I didn't curve my L or my R, just as a crown creates an aura around a king. And I put, so if you believe you are destined for great things, you are, dude, you will be. As you think, so you are. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If you think you're the fucking man. I learned that from Andrew Tate. He said, your life will never be worse going around thinking you are the fucking man, right? When you go up to other women, always assume that every single person wants you, that you're just the best thing ever. He said, your experience of life is never going to be diminished by you thinking highly of yourself, ever. When you walk around with such confidence, such assurance in yourself and your ability, the world will respond in kind, right? And then when you have so much self-confidence that's practiced and rehearsed and solidified and cemented over time by not this, like I said, not showmanship, not this robust arrogance, but just keeping promises that you make to yourself. That's how you cement the understanding, the conviction of knowing who the fuck you are, because you're consistent in what you say and what you do. So if you have a plethora of history showing that I'm the motherfucker who does what he says, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you'll walk around with that quiet, calm self-reassurance that will communicate loudly, fucking shouting to other people without you needing to say a word. Food for thought. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, dude. You believe what you believe, you'll radiate outward what you believe about yourself. Just as a crown creates an aura around a king or a queen. Okay. Act like a king, you are likely to be treated as one. Quote from the book. Very true. And like I said, not arrogance, not showmanship, because that communicates weakness and insecurity. And I put small man syndrome. The fucking 5'6" whatever dude who's throwing weights in the fucking gym, who's slamming everything when he's done with his last rep, and he's like, look at me. Nobody gives a fuck about you. And no one looks and thinks of you highly or like, oh my gosh, wow, you're so amazing. You're not getting the response and the respect that you're hoping to achieve and elicit. And I don't give a shit about a person's height, the guy's height. When a guy is small and super well built and has that, he shuts the fuck up and he's there to perform and work, you don't have to say anything and you're getting the attention of the entire room. Because you'll find out that nobody gives a fuck about the height. Right? I understand there's fucking stupid women that will, if you're not 6 feet, you can't talk to me. And it's just like, about something the guy can't fucking control. You're a fucking idiot. But it comes down to his lack of arrogance, his omnipresent humility, his calm self-confidence and reassurance within himself. You don't have to fucking speak, right? You just perform. You just be. And then you'll get that respect and that awe by you treating yourself with awe, by you coming to hold yourself in awe. Right? The motherfucker who's throwing weights, and when I say short man king syndrome, dude, the person throwing weights could be 6 foot plus tall. I see them all the time. They're these insecure pricks saying, somebody please fucking notice me. Give me some attention, right? Because I don't respect myself. You're just a nuisance. Everybody tunes you out and stays the fuck away from you, right? Because all it is a reflection of how weak you are, how lowly you value yourself and how you view yourself. Your lack of self-respect, your lack of confidence, right? He said, that's not what we're going for. We're not going for arrogance. We're not going for showmanship. We're not going for the short king in the gym, right? And when I say short king, height is irrelevant. He said, that's the opposite of a royal demeanor. You want to walk around like a king, like you own the place, without saying anything, right? But you create that aura, right? I flaunt it, right? From Bohemian Rhapsody. This battery's going to die one sec. Hello. All right. Does that make sense? Walk around with the royal demeanor, my good friends. Royal demeanor. Okay. Be sublime in your deeds, lofty in your thoughts. It was a quote from, his name was like Balthazar. I'm butchering it, but when I read that, be sublime in your deeds, lofty in your thoughts, and we talk about the quote from Earl Nightingale that said, we become what we think about most often. We're talking about the law, be royal in your own fashion, act like a king to be treated like one. The acting like a king to be treated like one isn't just in your actions. It's not just in your sublime, you being sublime in your deeds. It's in your thoughts. And I learned this from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, who said, oh my gosh, where is it? I misplaced it. And again, I got interrupted. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's right here. Do you know what he said in this book? Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He said, the way that you should have your thoughts should be so pure as if your mind is a glass that other people could look in at any time and see what thoughts you're thinking. He said you should have kingly thoughts like that. So when I read this, be lofty in your thoughts. There's an airplane outside, you can hear it. How many people do you know who are these disgusting serpent, snake, weasel rats, and you know they're thinking about decrepit fucking shit in their brain? Like, you can just see how gross they are. It's very, very important that you have these pure thoughts, because what your inner mind, right, will be manifested, is a word you could use, in your physical reality, right? It's how you feel about yourself, the thoughts that you're thinking, everything. That is exactly what you'll find reflected in your 3D physical reality. So if you're thinking all of this decrepit garbage, don't expect a beautiful garden when you're filling it with so much fucking poison. So I love that. Be lofty in your thoughts. Have kingly, royal thoughts in your mind. When you're thinking about people, you're not thinking about hatred. You're not thinking about anger. You're not doing anything to raise your cortisol. You're not shitting other people, shit-talking them in your head, or thinking how terrible all these people are. You're not doing any of that garbage, right? You're thinking love. You're thinking compliments. You're thinking encouragement. You're thinking healing. You're thinking improvement. You're thinking paying credit where it's due. You're thinking of growth. You're thinking of all those beautiful things, right? You're being lofty in your thoughts. As if it's a glass, like right here as a glass, people could see through at any time and see what you're thinking. If that was the case, and you could actually see people's horrific thoughts, the fucking demons, the disgusting garbage, right? The fucking porn categories that they're watching and thinking about and fantasizing about. And it's just, if you could see what people are thinking about and you got to see an inside look at who they are, oh wow, what a different place. Oh wow, how differently people would think and how they would go about their day, and how much more love that they would choose in their inner world to operate with. Right? Out of fear of judgment from other people. But what would be the result? A much more beautiful place, right? Much more loving place. Versus if you're walking around and you see a guy that all you see in his window is fucking chainsaws and hammers, you'd be like, yeah, maybe I should stay the fuck away from that guy. But it's funny because if you go to the gym and you see these guys who are these mean monsters, I bet you look in them and you see like the K-pop, and you see the teddy bears and you see just rainbows and bubbles. It's very true. So we talk about not judging a book by its cover, but that we do judge on appearances. All right, almost done. Set your price high and do not waver. The 10x rule, do not lower the target. When you're remembering your value of that royal king that you are, that you're the person who walks around as if they're destined to wear the crown, don't lower your price. What you're demanding from other people in your relationships. In that audio that I listened to on the drive to the gym this morning, don't dull your edges. Don't say, this is good enough, I'll settle for this. You don't have to settle ever. You don't have to settle in your partner. You don't have to settle in the person that you want to be in a relationship with. You don't have to make yourself more palatable. Dude, you can show up as yourself, exactly as you are, flaws and all. Just like in this video. A lot of flaws that I've made in this video. A lot of things that I could have said better. A lot of things that, weren't as becoming of the king version of Tarek, right? We're doing this raw, uncut, unedited, dude. You get to see who I am, right? You get to see the person with the flaws, with the insecurities, the person who's not perfect, the person who does make blunders and mistakes. Because fuck dulling the edges anymore, right? Fuck making yourself inauthentic or more palatable for other motherfuckers, right? Show up as yourself, and then people who resonate with you, who love you for you, will find you, right? We're not here to pretend to be someone we're not, to get the validation from other motherfuckers that we have to pretend to be someone who we're not to receive that kind of approval and recognition from. who at the end of the day, when you actually would show your true self, they don't give a fuck about you and don't want to be with you. So why would you want to be with someone or have somebody in your garden who doesn't like you for you, right? And how exhausting would it be to go through your entire life needing to play a character and pretend to be someone that you're not for the sake of others, for the sake of approval from others? When you can lay your foundation right now, it's going to be lonely at first, right? But if you choose to show up as you, then people who fuck with you, who resonate with you, who like and even love you for you, can and will find you. And you'll be very surprised. I know this, I'm speaking this into the future, that there are people out there in very, affluent positions, places where you want to go, opportunities that you want to have, and they want to help a person exactly like you. Not this arrogant, not this person with no humility, not this arrogant, I already said that, prick, not this douchebag, this person of humble origins who's just full of love and light and this is my sales pitch. Who just, wants the good for other people, who just wants to create a fucking garden where we all, heal and we all love each other, we all, help each other to fucking improve. Simple things, I know it's mind-blowing of a concept, but that's from setting your price high, man, and not wavering. That this is the standard, this is the cost of entry if you want to get into Tarek Houx's garden. Right? You get your fucking ego, you get all the blood from all the wounds that you're not tending to, you do not bleed on someone who didn't cut you, you get the fuck out of here, right? But if you want to heal, if you want to reflect, if you want to discuss, if you want to grow, get the fuck in here. Get the hell in here, grab a seat, get a plate, right? Stay a while, okay? Remember, you are worth a king's ransom. I love that, dude. Just in the idea of remembering your value, you are worth a king's ransom. And last quote, and this was so good that I had to write it down. And again, I got interrupted. That's become my new favorite line. If you've seen it, it's like a Bachelor reality show, and then he's like, stop interrupting me. He's just a fucking nerd. And then she starts crying. He's like, again, I get interrupted. So good. It's like a little inside running joke that I have with my little sister that I'll say to her sometimes when either of us get interrupted. Anyways, do not wait for a coronation. Do not wait for a coronation. The great emperors crown themselves. That is law number 34. What is it in summary? In summary, it's remember who the fuck you are. Act like a king to be treated like one. That's actually the law. I didn't have to look it up in the back. That's law number 34, my friends. Does any of that make sense? Does any of that resonate, dude, with what we're doing, with what we're trying to do, with what we're trying to build, the garden we're trying to create and cultivate, right? Place where you feel safe to let go. Place where you feel safe to heal, to reflect, to consider, right? To look at your own limiting beliefs. Look at your own insecurities. Look at beliefs that have been indoctrinated within you since since childhood that you had no control over. And then see how it has manifested into a self-fulfilling prophecy later in life. And it's just like, whoa. But what is the solution? Pattern recognition. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I wasn't treating myself like a king. I wasn't acting like a king. I wasn't walking with that sort of self-reassurance, confidence. I was forgetting who the fuck I was because I don't have those kind of people in my life reminding me who the fuck I am. And dude, I'm one of them. How many people do you think text me and say, hey, Tark, you're doing fucking awesome. I love what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. You are so good looking. This isn't text I'm getting on an ever basis, buddy. Nope, there's no one who's sending me a good morning text saying, Tarek, you're doing fucking awesome. I'm so proud of you. You're going to do a great job today. Here's $100 million, and I hope you get every ecstasy, sexual gratification, pleasure, euphoria, island. Not a thing, right? So you got to be your own cheerleader. You have to look at yourself with awe, and I love that so much. Get to viewing yourself in awe, right? How do you do that? You keep promises that you make to yourself, right? You let go of the opinions and the need for validation, recognition from other motherfuckers who don't like you for you. You do not dull your edges, right? Stay your authentic, unapologetic self. Remember that you are worthy of the most abundant, effortless love because you're no longer working to earn it, right? You're learning and viewing life as love is something to be recognized with others, not something that you need to work for, not not something that you need to earn, not something that you need to become more than you are right now. No, you're enough. You're enough. You're enough. As you are, who you are, where you are right now. So with that, law number 34, done. And if you do the math, that means we have how many? I think it's 15. 15 left. And then we're done with the 48 laws of power. This is Rat Life University. My name is Tarek Haux. Anyone can escape. Starts with belief and the courage to pursue. That is Rat Life, and we are all gonna make it. Remember, treat yourself like a king or queen, and find out with much surprise you'll be treated like one. Next time. See ya.